Hello and welcome back. This is section 6, templates and spacebars. In the previous section, we covered subscriptions and queries. In this section, we'll cover template expressions, reusable components, helper functions, and how to use variables to manage application state. Let's get started in the first video, template expressions. We'll cover if-else statements, each statements, unless, with, and then we'll manage the HTML content within our template. Let's begin by opening up our cart template, and we're going to make a list. We'll give it a class of list unstyled, and then basically inside of that list, we're going to put all the code for our shopping cart. So the cart is going to be in the right side of the page, and here we're going to put a couple dynamic parameters. One is the image, one is the quantity. So each of those, you notice we're putting them in these double brackets, and that's going to indicate that it should take that from the data context. So once we put where we want our variable data to go, like the product and the price, next we'll actually put an each loop around these li items so that we can say each of the cart items is our data context. So essentially we're saying, for each item in the cart, then go ahead and display this HTML and replace these variables. So now we're going to create a cart.js file, and this is where we're going to put a helper, which is going to pass us that array. We need something called cart items so we can loop through it. So we're going to say that cart items is a function, and it returns. Now normally we would just get the result from the database, but we don't yet have anything in the database, so we'll just create a dummy object so that we can see how our HTML file is going to render with the data coming from this object. So we'll give it an image, a product, and a quantity, and then a price. Those were the variables we used inside of our form. So as long as they're passed to us, normally as an array, so I'm just going to put array brackets here and then put our item. Now we'll dress this up a little bit with some CSS. So we'll go ahead and create a file which is a cart CSS file. And so inside of that file, what we want to do is make sure that those item left and item rights are going to float left and float right. Let's just make it li and then class item dash left, and we'll say float left. And then for the li item right, we're going to say that we want to float right. And that will make sure that our text is floated to the proper side. So just below that, we're going to put the item left image, and this way we can set the height of our image to, say, 45 pixels so it doesn't come in so huge. So now we see a little image of our product along with a badge showing the quantity and the name. It doesn't quite fit right, so we should probably adjust the width of this cart. So what I'll do is go back into our layout where we determine the width and set this one to 7 and this one to 3. That'll take one unit away from the center and give it to the right. So that opens it up a little bit. Now we have our categories off to the left. In the main section we have our products, and on the right we'll have our carts. So that looks pretty good. I think we'll put a little space here just to even out that dollars and the close box or the delete box. And then, we see that our category is here with our little buy button. So basically what I want to do now is probably go in and make sure that there is someone logged in before we try to show a cart. So again, this is another expression, and this is the if expression. And notice with an if expression, you can have an else expression. So you can say, for example, please log in, and that way, instead of having a cart there, you would have some text that says, please log in, and then they'll know they don't see their cart because they're not logged in. If they are logged in, then they'll see the cart. So basically now if we go and check this out and we sign out, and then we go and just look, and as long as we're not logged in, we don't have a cart, but if we are logged in, we do have a cart. So let's go in and add another field in here, description, And we're going to say that this field, we actually want to pass some HTML data. So we'll make like the text bold, great, and then, sent. So basically what we're doing is we're going to try to pass some HTML so that it renders HTML into our template. Now, if you notice when this refreshes, you'll see once I put the description here, it's actually going to render the HTML as HTML, which that's not really what we want. So it puts the bold tag here, kicks all of our stuff down. So we don't really want that. So if you put a third bracket here, this expression is for custom HTML. So if you want to render HTML as HTML, notice now that we have our great sent is bold. I'm just going to make this a paragraph so it breaks to the next line. And then you'll see that the great sent comes down here and the great is bold. So these were some of the different expressions that are already built in to the space bars. So you can use, if, each, unless, all of those different expressions within your templates without doing anything else. So now that we've covered the template expressions, let's move on to the next video, which is reusable components.